Well, then let's get going.
Back on.
Let's get this show on the road.
This kid's gotta wait.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore.
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara.
Here.
Councilman Iacilli. Councilman Powell.
Present.
Councilman Martell.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Let's start the work session with a review of the draft agenda for October 14th. There's going to be 4 public hearings. The first to consider, well, actually, the first 3 are to consider the property acquisition at 31 Quantuck Bay Lane, 35 Quantuck Bay Lane, and 33 Quantuck Bay Lane in the hamlet of Quiog, and to amend the CPF project plan and CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. And the 4th public hearing is to consider the acquisition of 189 Dune Road in the village of Quogue and to amend the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. Okay. Who's going to read Michael's?
I'll do the first one. Town Board Resolution 1030 of 2025, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli and Councilman Pell. Authorize the use of community housing funds for the acquisition of 3 lots located at 47 Flanders Road, Riverside, for affordable housing apartment units.
Sunday, could you add me to that, please? Town Board Resolution 1115 of 2025, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Recall and amend Resolution 2025-1072 to extend expiration of zone change approval for the application entitled The Preserve at South Country Road in order to correctly identify the subject parcels. Is everybody okay with that now?
Well, Janice said she was going to give us some backup documentation that I don't believe she did yet, so provided we get that,
Okay.
that's fine.
I'll reach out to her on that.
Thanks.
Town Board Resolution 1131 of 2025, co-sponsored Councilman Pell. Resolution authorizing the purchase of 1232 North Sea Road in the hamlet of North Sea, Town of Southampton.
And we will need to update the date.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is for people's information. That's the old ambulance barn in the corner there.
Can we add that to the title?
Is that?
Can we add, no, because it wasn't in the public hearing, so we
I'm
can't.
sorry, add
I was
what?
asking if we could add that to the title, but it wasn't in the public hearing, so I guess we have to leave the title as is.
The ambulance building.
Yeah. That way people know what we're spending the money on.
It's in the resolution. It's just an address, and it should, I would like it to say purchase of 1232 North Sea Road, Hamlet, Southampton, also known as the Southampton Volunteer Ambulance Barn, or,
Yeah. It's smart.
or purchase of the Southampton Southampton Volunteer Ambulance Barn. At?
The
We
former?
need to do it at the meeting because it's a table
But can we
resolution.
we can do that?
What's that?
We can change that, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a resolution. Right.
Yeah.
Right, it's not a public hearing.
Right.
It's in there, just not in the title.
Town Board Resolution 51009, co-sponsored with Councilman McNamara. Authorize the purchase of automobile parts, service, and supplies from Sourcewell contract with Ford Motor Company. Town Board Resolution 51100. Authorize.
Hang on a sec.
I didn't see
Town
that.
Board Resolution ID number 51012 to authorize purchases of cesspool cleaning using Suffolk County contract with Environmental Services, Inc.
Town Board Resolution 51100, authorize purchase of lab service soil and groundwater analyzed for PACE Analyze Service and Long Island Attic Lab use for Suffolk County contract.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51010 to authorize purchases of process service local from Nationwide Court Services, Inc., using the Suffolk County contract. Town Board Resolution ID number 51037 to authorize purchases of solar photovoltaic system supply, install, and maintenance from Eldor Contracting Corp. using the Suffolk County contract.
Town Board Resolution ID 51101, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize supervisor to sign a no-cost contract extension with L.K. McLean Associates Engineering and Surveying, DPC, for professional services related to improvements at Red Creek Park, Hampton Bays.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51035 to authorize the purchase of equipment rentals and related products and services from Herc Rentals, Inc. using Omnia Partners contract. Town Board Resolution ID number 51080 to authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract amendment with Hayduck Engineering LLC for municipal engineering consulting services. Town Board Resolution ID number 51079 to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement for A. Martin Petrovic, Professor of Horticulture, to review the 2025 operation and environmental impact of the Bridge Golf Course. Town Board Resolution ID number 51078 to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with WSP USA, formerly Leggett, Brashears, and Graham, Inc., in connection with the 2025 groundwater monitoring and sampling services for the Bridge Golf Course. Town Board Resolution ID number 51103, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to execute a contract amendment with Edward Wolfersdorf to assist in the review of backlogged building permit plans in the Department of Land Management. The Town Board Resolution ID number 51102 to authorize the supervisor to execute a master services agreement with CSC Holdings LLC for Optimum Services. Town Board Resolution ID number 51074 to authorize the supervisor to execute any and all agreements to purchase Microsoft licenses. Town Board Resolution ID number 51076, co-sponsored by Councilman Pell, to authorize the supervisor to sign a sole source contract with Hoffman International Equipment to provide Moorbach industrial products. Town Board Resolution ID number 50968, co-sponsored by Councilman Martell. A resolution to apply for a 2025 Certified Local Government CLG Program Grant. Town Board Resolution ID number 51069 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Andela Tool and Machine, Inc., DBA Andela Products for glass pulverizer.
Going.
Sponsored with Councilman Pell. Town Board.
It smashes glass.
Yeah.
You wanna know.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51015 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Ashlar Contracting LLC for the West Hampton Activity Center contract for general construction. And that is really exciting,
That's
right?
very
They're
exciting.
awarding the bids for
That's more
the
exciting than the glass crusher.
new community center, yep. And it has
And
to
the
be
youth center,
done at several contractors. The next is Town Board Resolution ID number 50107 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Eastern Industrial Services of New York, Inc. for the West Hampton Activity Center for HVAC construction. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51018 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Hirsch and Company LLC for the West Hampton Activity Center for plumbing construction. And lastly, the Town Board Resolution ID number 51016 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Rollins Electric, Inc. for the West Hampton Activity Center contract for electrical construction. This is ridiculous. Town Board Resolution ID number 51066 to award and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with S&M Prompt Rubbish Removal Service, Inc. for public safety building demolition.
God.
Yes.
And that'll be nice to get rid of that eyesore. Town Board Resolution ID number 50926, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to declare items surplus and authorize disposal of vehicles.
Town Board Resolution ID 51077, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli. Recall and amend Town Board Resolution Number 2025-952, authorize supervisor to sign contract with Lero Engineers, Inc. for professional services related to asbestos remediation design service at 59 Montauk Highway, West Hampton.
Town Board Resolution ID 51032, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, reject all bids for farming at Sayre Field, 93 Butter Lane, Bridgehampton.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51075 to retain the law offices of Carter, Ledyard, and Milburn LLP for the Fire Island Inlet to Montauk Point project.
Town Board Resolution 51068, 2025 notice to bidders for the Bay Drive Water Quality Improvement Phase 2.
Town Board Resolution ID 51067, 2025 notice to bidders for Poxbog Golf Center building renovations. Town Board Resolution ID 51082, 2025 notice to proposers for food and beverage service at Poxbog Golf Center.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50998, a bond authorization of $1,230,000 for the purchase of the building for municipal purposes.
Could you add me onto that, please?
This is for the ambulance barn, right?
Yeah, maybe we all should be on that.
Oh, you can add me on that.
Oh, all
It
right,
is,
we'll
it's the
need a roll
ambulance barn.
call too at the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
But we'll all do that. Town Board Resolution ID number 51004 to amend the 2025 adopted budget for legal fees. Town Board Resolution ID number 51040 to amend the 2025 budget for various departments. Town Board Resolution ID number 51008 to amend the 2025-2029 capital budget for the West Hampton Activity Center. Hopefully that, we'll be getting the grant for that, but we don't know yet.
Trying.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51013 to reappoint David Riley to the Board of Assessment Review. Town Board Resolution ID number 51031 to authorize the town attorney to accept a settlement from the Hampton Bays Water District share of the partial settlement with 3M Company in the aqueous film forming foams product liability class action litigation.
Cindy, could you add me to that, please? And that's the
You can add me
second
to
of potentially, I think, 4 checks?
Yeah, that's about, right, that's about 50% they figure right now between the 2 checks we received, so it's totally over.
What was the last one?
$1.5 million total now.
I think last time, so
It was
we're about.
400,000.
Was it 400? So, yeah, so, they're getting bigger, which is,
Yeah, so we're up to like 2 million.
yeah, about 2 million now.
Was this some
Or
kind of
1.5 million,
structured
I'm sorry.
settlement that they had to pay out over time?
Yeah, I believe, so, yeah, yeah.
Can we call 1-800-CASH now?
And there's still other defendants, that's just one, there's still other defendants out there that we're gonna be seeking for,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
so.
Town board, yeah, it's so expensive, as you could see from our prior meeting, to
Sure.
be running that water district.
Yeah.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51116 to authorize the town to reimburse New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal the deductible for liability and property damage claims.
Town Board Resolution ID 51039, co-sponsored with Supervisor Moore, in the matter of the establishment of the East Quogue Park District in the town of Southampton, County of Suffolk, State of New York.
Everybody's going to be very happy about that one. Town Board Resolution ID number 50950 to authorize the town attorney to retain outside counsel Scott D. Middleton of Campolo, Middleton, and McCormick LLP to represent the interests of the town as it relates to a litigation matter entitled Mott's Only Authentic New York Style LLC et al. Versus the town of Southampton et al.
Town Board Resolution ID 50962, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the Bridgehampton Museum Potato Hampton 5K on September 21st, 2025, from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
If I could be added to that one, please.
Myself too, please. You want to be added?
Yes.
Town Board Resolution ID 50952, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, authorization of cost reimbursement waiver for the East Quogue Fire Department seafood party that was held. Can we put that
Only
was
one.
held on Sunday?
Excuse me?
Can we change it party on September 20th, that was held on
Certainly.
September 20th, 2025.
Get the whole board,
Yes, please.
please.
Certainly.
Town Board Resolution ID number 47737 to authorize the Peconic Bay Region Community Preservation Fund tax refund pursuant to Hallmark Abstract Service LLC overpaying the Peconic Bay tax.
Town Board Resolution ID 50946, authorize waiver of Parks and Recreation Facility use fee for Hampton Bays High School's Interact Club Run as One 5K for Mary's Meals on November 15th, 2025.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51085, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the release of a maintenance bond in connection with David's Path subdivision. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51084, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to release of a maintenance bond in connection with Hampton Business District, Gabreski APDD at 230 Rogers Way.
Town Board Resolution ID 50967, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, approval of 2025 junkyard permits for various businesses. And that list has shrunk over the years.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51063 to accept the resignation of Nicole Balducci, Administrative Assistant in Land Management. Town Board Resolution ID number 51007 to accept the retirement of Janet Robles, Office Assistant, Spanish Speaking in the Justice Court. Town Board Resolution ID number 51047 to appoint Johnny Bedell to Scale Operator in Waste Management. Town Board Resolution ID number 50982 to appoint Joseph Mullen to Senior Accountant position from the Civil Service list. Town Board Resolution ID number 51113 to appoint Karen Garcia Springer to Senior Office Assistant in Municipal Works. Town Board Resolution ID number 51118, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to appoint Carrie Meyer to Administrative Assistant in Land Management. Town Board Resolution ID number 50929 to appoint Maritza Perez Guerrero to the Office Assistant Spanish Speaking in the Justice Court. Town Board Resolution ID number 51119 to appoint Nolan Lehman to Senior Park Attendant in the Parks Department.
Hey, Jim,
Lot
on
of
this one, I'm going to
appointments
recuse
today.
myself because I know him.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51057 to appoint Paolo Cagliotto to Senior Office Assistant in Municipal Works.
Town Board Resolution 51028, authorize attendance at the New York State Highway and Public Works Expo.
Town Board Resolution ID 51030, co-sponsored by Councilman Iacilli, authorize Youth Bureau Director to attend the Association of New York State Youth Bureau Directors Training.
Town Board Resolution ID number 50995 to rescind Resolution 2025-1076, appointment of a Public Safety Dispatcher 1. Town Board Resolution ID number 51107, co-sponsored by Councilman Martell, a notice of public hearing for the 2026 fire protection contracts. And that'll be held on October 28th.
Town Board Resolution ID 51062, co-sponsored with Councilman Iacilli, notice of public hearing for the proposed allocation of the Community Development Block Grant Funds for the year 2026.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51097, a notice of public hearing to consider amending the Town Code, Chapter 8, Budget to override the tax levy limit established by the General Municipal Law, Section 3-C. Town Board Resolution ID number 51090, co-sponsored by the entire board, a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 185 Widow Gavitz Road in the hamlet of Sag Harbor and to amend the CPF project plan and CPF management plan to include the property. Town Board Resolution ID number 51089, co-sponsored by the entire board, to schedule a notice of public hearing to consider the acquisition of 40 Redwood Road in the village of Sag Harbor, and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property.
Town Board Resolution 50951, sponsored by Councilman Iacilli. Notice of public hearing to consider amending Town Code Chapter 312, Vehicles and Traffic, by changing the speed limit on 3 roads: Big Fresh Pond Road, Lakeside Drive, and Parish Road in the Tuckahoe North Sea area.
I thought we were gonna have a work session
I
on,
was just going to say, did we have a work session?
we
on
didn't,
this?
we were gonna have one on the criteria to change to 25, because once we start this, it is going to be every road in the town, and we want to know what the parameters are and what the process
This
is.
was supposed to be a public hearing, because I actually talked to Nick about that.
I mean, a work session. you
Work
mean.
session, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Why don't we just put this
can we
over?
table it and then schedule a public hearing, even though it's not our
Not
resolution?
our reso.
Michael would have to, what time would he have to contact you by to take this off of the,
Is that
We
a-
could always table it, I guess, on
Yeah.
Tuesday,
Can you,
yeah. Um,
if you need more time, I mean, we'll wait. but-
So, Janice, we should have a,
Phil, do you want to ask him if he can?
He's at a wedding today.
Ah, okay. We can always just
You
table
want to
it.
do it before this is finalized, is that what you're saying?
Well,
we could table it
Preferably,
at
but if-
Tuesday,
Oh,
and
certainly.
then have a public hearing,
no, we'll have a work
I
session.
mean, a work session before it comes back up. Yeah,
I'll text him.
Janice will look at the schedule, see when we can fit it in. Busy. Okay, almost done there, Dave. Town Board Resolution ID number 50985, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, a notice of public hearing to consider a request to extinguish a town-owned development right in relation to a carriage house proposed to be designed as a town landmark at 439 Hayground Road, Bridgehampton. Too bad Dave just left, because I would have asked him about that one.
We can ask him when he comes in.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51091, co-sponsored by the entire board, to change target area of parcels to Village Hamlet Green and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51092, co-sponsored by the entire board, to change the target area of parcels to wetland and amend the CPF management and stewardship plan.
No walk-ons?
I don't remember. She did not talk about this. We
No,
did it
right?
before, but,
Well, we don't know which parcels this is.
no.
I would
and,
like to see
um,
them and know why.
I'd like to see them and know why, so, and we're not gonna see her today.
So we can always table this one too. Or do you
Yeah.
want to, just pull them? We're not going
Uh,
to see her until well after the meeting.
Yeah, I don't know, it's harder for everyone to put it back, take it off and put it on again, or just table it for,
Sunday doesn't seem to think.
I don't know what you're, I
Oh,
can't
we're
hear what
Easier
you're
to
saying.
withdraw it or to table it and then keep it on the agenda until, because it's going to be a while.
we can table it and keep it on
I
the
always prefer
agenda.
that you withdraw something rather
You
than keep it
do.
on the agenda for any length of time.
All right, then,
Withdraw those two?
yeah.
Because we have to continually carry it
We
over.
withdraw these now and, or do it Tuesday.
No, you can withdraw them now, because you're in your draft review right
Yeah,
now.
because we didn't
So
get
just tell me
any,
which
The
ones.
last two,
The last
91
two.
and 92 on page 74 and 75.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna do-
we're not,
There's
you
been
know,
controversial
Sorry,
things that have
not-
happened
Not
before. and-
91, 92 and 93,
No, and we,
91 and
it's not like,
92.
you know, there was
91 and
pushback
92.
when we did
On the other one,
agricultural land,
we
so
need to
I
see
want to
the
know
map.
what and why and.
So to be clear, both of them 91 and 92, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Got it.
and then I'm sure Jackie will catch us up next Thursday when we meet with her.
I don't think she's coming.
So those both are gonna be withdrawn off the agenda?
Hmm?
We're gonna withdraw both of those
Yes.
off the agenda?
All the women to withdraw.
Leave you to
Good to go. Thank
your
you.
business, and I'm gonna go.
Dave, had a question about this extinguishment of the development right relating to a carriage house on Hayground Road in Bridgehampton.
Being designated as a landmark.
I don't remember talking about it, so I'm just wondering what's going on with that. It's a carriage house?
That's made it onto the agenda?
Yeah, it's, well, scheduled for a public hearing.
So I put that in as a draft.
Should we withdraw that one too? Do you want to say it, Dave? Here.
I'm not recalling it, but
Yeah.
it's a resolution to set a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always nice to hear about it in
On the 28th,
advance.
is that when the hearing would be?
November 12th.
12.
I hate to schedule a public hearing if we're not going to actually all be in favor of it. Can you stay for just one more minute? I know you've got to get going, but.
Yeah, can we talk about it afterwards, or do you have to take it off the agenda right now?
We're trying to process the agenda, is what we're trying to get to.
Any doubts, take it off.
I think we can withdraw it now, and we still have time. It's not till the middle of November.
Okay.
Oh, I think Kelly put this on, right?
Yeah, it came from Kelly. She asked if we would be on it.
Yeah, it should stay on.
That's all you need to know.
It's just to schedule a public hearing.
It's just a scheduled public hearing, yeah.
You got a month.
So we can do a
Figure it
work
out.
session before.
Yeah, you have a month to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Okay, but for the record, I always think it's best to have the work session and get the board's input as to whether we actually want to proceed before
Yeah.
we schedule a public hearing. Because once you schedule the public hearing, you have to have it.
Yeah.
So,
All right, I'll
Janice,
put
could you put that on also for a work session? This is the town board, it's on page 73.
So do you want it to stay?
Just
Or
stay.
you want it to go?
That's staying.
It'll stay. That came from Kelly?
Just remember, we're just taking orders. Our department is asked to put a resolution on, we put the resolution on. It's
So
from
who'd it
another
come
department.
from?
Right, obviously.
Landmarks and planning? And she did send us an email asking
It's
if we
gonna
would
stay on because
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
it'll stay on, but we'd like to have a work session before that public hearing on the 12th. Please. What? This says, oh, Wednesday, November 12th, okay. Because of the holiday. All right, that's that. Okay, so we're 10 minutes late, but why don't you come on up? We're going to talk about the proposed landmark designation for the Austin Tuttle Family House, 149 South Country Road in Remsenburg, and the Herman Ellsworth Turrell House at 11 Walnut Avenue East, Quogue. Hi. And we've got Julie Green, our historian, and thank you, Stephanie, for coming. Stephanie Davis, Vice Chair of the Landmarks Board, and Dave Wilcox.
These chairs are comfortable now.
Yeah, they're nice.
Driveway?
Not my driveway. Thanks.
Everybody like the boat
Yes,
cradle?
I want to come and see it.
I don't know.
Which one do we want to do first?
The
149?
boat cradle? You didn't see it?
Sure.
Oh, they were there.
First on the agenda, so.
No, it's okay.
I'll find it.
It's very pretty.
It is.
Very sleek and
It's nice.
it's nice.
Way nicer than the boat stands. Thank you. Here, I'll give one to Jim. Thank you.
I need one for.
I was I just pulled it up on my phone to show.
no,
Sure.
Let me see, let me see.
it's over at, the Coast Guard station.
Yep.
Leave it on.
Oh, that's pretty. Thank you,
We
Julie.
had, the Coast Guard, a bunch of different chiefs from different stations. They all put their heads together and figured out how to put it together.
You
So
want
it's
to keep it
great.
in
was-
shape.
What's that?
Want to make sure it retains its shape.
Yeah, yeah. They knew all those calculations of the weight and
The keel.
on the metal, and I'm like, phew, phew. But, yeah.
Because actually, you see boats sitting over the years, even fiberglass boats and steel, they'll sag.
Yeah.
Okay, 149 South Country Road in Remsenburg. This is a house that is near and dear to me. It's about 5 doors down from where I live, and I knew the most recent Tuttle owners of the house, Willis Tuttle. and his wife Jessie. They were still alive when I was growing up. This house, we are recommending, the Landmarks Board is recommending for landmarking because of its character, special character, and historic interest as part of the cultural and social history of Remsenburg. That is through its association with 5 generations of the Tuttle family, which is one of the first families that settled the Remsenburg area. And just to give a little background about that, we believe the house was built in about 1820, possibly for James and Temperance Tuttle. James was a Revolutionary War soldier, and after he passed and his wife passed, the home ownership or the ownership of the property passed to his son Joseph Tuttle. We don't know too much about Joseph, but it passed thereafter to his son Austin Tuttle, which we know quite a bit about Austin Tuttle, and we know for sure that Austin Tuttle and his family lived in that house. After Austin passed, it passed down to his son George Washington Tuttle, who was a farmer. He built a number of farm buildings on the property. At that time, the property extended all the way down to the bay, down to Moriches Bay. And after George passed, it passed to his nephew, Willis Byron Tuttle, because George did not have any children. And it's Willis Byron Tuttle, who is a very well-known correspondent in our town. He wrote for the Brooklyn Eagle, he wrote for the Riverhead News Review, he wrote for the New York Tribune. He was an editor of the Westhampton Press starting in 1930, which is later known as the Hampton Chronicle and is now the Western edition of the Southampton Press. He also wrote for the Long Island Forum, and his articles chronicled the history of our area in great detail. And I love finding copies of the Long Island Forum with Willis's information in them.
This is the one that I had mentioned, I think, when we did the public hearing, that I am indebted to Willis for writing all these columns. He wrote, he had a Remsenburg and Spion column in the County Review through the 1950s through the 60s, and so he gave a lot of history of the area on a weekly basis, which is, I'm always stumbling upon his columns. So as a historian and to learn parts of the town, he is invaluable.
Yeah, and I would echo that, because in doing our research for the Landmarks Board, for the reports that we write about the houses that we review, I often find information from his columns that I can clip and put into the reports, which makes it very interesting. He was also important locally in the community. He was a charter member of the Remsenburg Association, which formed in 1946 and still exists today. In fact, I'll be speaking at the Remsenburg Association meeting this Sunday about historic Remsenburg. He was an elder of our Presbyterian Church and a member of the War Memorial Committee that was responsible for the installation of our War Memorial Monument in 1948, and that's right, was in front of what was the school at that time at the intersection of South Country Road and South Phillips Avenue. His wife, Jessie Tuttle, was also a very important person in our community. She was very involved in the church. She was a charter member of the Ladies' Aid Society, which helped maintain our church buildings and keep our church programs going. She outlived Willis. Willis lived until 1975. She lived until 1978. And after she passed, the house passed out of the family ownership. But it was lived in by, we believe, 5 generations of the Tuttle family. And I remember this house when I was growing up, and it still looks essentially the same. The color of the roof has changed, but other than that, it looks essentially the same as it did in the 60s and 70s. It retains also a lot of its original building material. The house before the current owner owned it was renovated by the prior owners, and they did a beautiful job. They kept the original windows, which are all wavy glass, single paned. And they also removed some of the sheetrock that had been added and some of the plaster and exposed the beams in the house. So when you go inside the house, you can see a lot of the original aspects of the construction of the house. The current owner has maintained it in much the same condition. He's not made any alterations, and I am very grateful to him because when I do my walking tours of Remsenburg, he allows us to go in the house with people and tour around the inside of the house and see what it's like. So he's done a beautiful job of maintaining what had been renovated before his ownership. It is described as a side gable colonial revival style dwelling. And as I noted, it maintains a lot of its original building fabric and exterior appearance. So the Landmarks Board definitely recommends that this property be landmarked. And I will mention that when we made our original landmarking recommendation, at that time, the house was undergoing renovation and a garage structure was proposed for the house. So when we made the landmarking recommendation, we reviewed the proposed plans for the new garage. We found that they were in keeping with the historic appearance of the structure, of the main dwelling. So when we made the landmarking recommendation, we acknowledged and agreed to the construction of this new garage. There is also a small shed in the back, which I think dates back to the same time as the original dwelling. It's a post and beam structure with half tree trunks that are all pegged together. And it's basically used as a pool house right now, but it still also retains a lot of its original character. So there's the two historic structures on the property, and there's a third new structure that is the garage that is consistent in appearance with the other structures.
I love the room out over the porch on the second story.
And its location on the curve is beautiful. I mean, it's just one of those houses that you see from a distance as you're driving to it. It's lovely.
Yeah, and what's interesting too about the property, because it's on the curve on Main Street, but it's also on the curve on Remsen Lane, you see three sides of that house very clearly from the public streets. And you can also see a little bit of the north side of the house from a public street. So a lot of it is very visible to the public. And I will point out too that section of Remsen Lane that actually crosses the property, it's used by everybody who lives down there, but it is actually on the private property.
This isn't an addition?
That's an enclosed porch. It was originally an open porch underneath an upstairs sleeping porch, and that's on the back of the house.
But that upstairs sleeping porch was always there, that's not,
Yeah, it may have not been original back in the day, but in my recollection from the 1960s and 1970s, the upstairs sleeping porch was there. So it may have been not original, but it was not added during the recent renovation.
It was pretty
So
common.
it's almost historic.
Yeah.
The renovation is, when this was added, is actually now historic as well. Probably 1930s, 1940s, and that's now considered historic as well.
They had no air conditioning, so people had a lot of screaming porches.
And that's true with any house that I think we pretty much ever see that dates back to 1700s, early, mid-1800s. Every single house has had additions as families grew, as lifestyles changed. I know when my own house, which dates back to the 1700s, was picked up and moved, that's when they added the bathroom on the back. There wasn't a bathroom on it before. And they added a couple of porches, and that's a very common thing. The wings on my house post-date its original, the center portion construction, which the center portion is a post and beam structure. So additions over the lifetime of these structures are extremely common.
but if it was something that was added within the last 20 years, would the board say you have to remove that?
Not,
It's not historic?
no, that's not something we would do. I mean, obviously, if it were
Completely out of character.
completely out of character, we might recommend its alteration, but both of these, the lower porch and the upper porch, were there when we reviewed the application. And that is,
Well, yeah, I mean, that was just recently, the application.
yes, the application. Yeah.
I think to answer your question, if the addition was done after the original construction and we felt it wasn't in character with the historic character of the building, we wouldn't even recommend landmarking it.
Yeah, if it was like a modern glass
it would-
box
it would-
put on the
yeah.
side.
Yeah, we would have a
It would
problem.
forfeit its.
But this fits the
historic-
character and it can place in line with
Yeah.
history of the.
Yeah, and just the evolution of, you needed a sleeping porch because there was no air conditioning or central air, and now there is, and so you can enclose it and be in keeping with the evolution of the times. You know, modern kitchens are added all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, Stephanie, the work you do on the Landmarks Board and also the Water Quality
So-
Review Board. It's all thankless work, and I know you put a lot of time and effort and care into what you do and give us that. I appreciate it.
Well, I enjoy it, and it's, you know, helping preserve the character of my community, you know, not just Remsenburg, but, you know, the other communities that we cover as well. So it's, I enjoy it.
It's much appreciated. I mean, just these reports that you provide to us are so detailed.
They're fun. Poking back in history to see
Yes.
exactly how far.
Go down a
how far
big
things
old
go.
rabbit hole for hours at night, right?
Now, this map at the back says Remsenburg Spionk Historic District. Is that actually designated as such?
No, no,
Glad you
but
brought that up.
yes, glad you brought that up. There's, in our 2014, the town commissioned a historic survey of its historic resources back in 2014, and there is a report that was prepared that covers the entire town. And in that report, for each community, there was a proposed outline of a historic district. There is no district established yet. But there has been, in Remsenburg, a number of people have discussed and proposed and are in favor of potentially establishing a historic district there. I'll be speaking on Sunday this week at the Remsenburg Association annual meeting. I'm going to talk to them about, you know, what makes Remsenburg historic, and talk to them about landmarking, of which we now have 4 structures that are, or actually 3, almost 4, that are landmarked in Remsenburg. And
the town owns the academy,
yeah, the town owns the academy, yeah.
school academy.
Well, I did just ask, because this just came up, we were talking about expanding potentially the Bridgehampton Historic District, and I asked if that we first look at, or in conjunction with, look at our other hamlets and districts that we could start with there and before we start expanding out.
Yeah, and it's something that I want to discuss with the community at this meeting, because establishing a district takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of historic research to be done, and we have had one effort the Landmarks Board worked on with the Art Village, and that did not end up going through, despite the fact that we got just about to the end of the line, but there were some people who lived there who opposed it, and it didn't end up going through, despite all the work that was done. So I would like to start laying some of the groundwork for this in Remsenburg and try to get a sense of whether there's enough public favorability to try to establish a district on Main Street. This district that's shown on the map in here, there's a number of properties that are identified as potentially contributing. Some of these properties, they no longer have the historic homes on them. We have lost, since 2014, about 6 properties on our Main Street that were historic and are no longer.
So the 2014 survey, I mean, was that for the entire town?
Yes.
So, okay, so
Not the villages, but the rest.
commercial and downtowns and residential.
Yeah, it covered basically the entire town. In some places, there was a, Main Street commercial district proposed, and then potentially additional areas that were proposed. Usually, in those areas, there would be 2 maps associated with that particular community's description. This report is available on the Landmarks Board website pages, so it's readily available for, review.
The AKRF.
Yeah, the AKRF study.
I'd love to hear what the community gives you as feedback.
Yeah. I'm hopeful we get enough of a cross-section at there, and then I follow it up in October 19th. I'll be doing a walking tour of our historic Main Street, and then we have a community party in early November, which is more informal, but I'll be, taking people's temperature at that point as well. But I would definitely love to establish this, because otherwise it's piecemeal, one property at a time, which is easier, frankly. It's a much easier lift to do one property.
There's a resolution on here on this agenda to do, to apply for a grant to do research, but just for Bridgehampton. So if we already have a 2014 survey, wouldn't it be better to use that grant money to update that survey for the entire town rather than just trying to expand the Bridgehampton?
It's not a bad idea.
Because we don't even know if people
If
are
you're saying houses have
interested.
already been lost and.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would actually
What the
like to
CDG
update the
is.
town to Maria's point, because then we can look at, areas that are needing somebody, because that's what really spurred the Bridgehampton downtown, is they were starting to lose historic structures.
Yeah, I think the push for the residential district at this point is coming from the residents themselves, and they've already made some headway in that direction.
Perhaps, but Ed said he hadn't heard any requests from the residents when he came in here anyway.
Right.
We said, where's this coming from?
Right.
They
There
made
were,
the application.
there were a few on Montauk Highway that were left out of
They wanted
the
to be
district, and they wanted to be included. Those I know, but those three.
But
negate
this
the
was, I don't know if
three.
you saw what we were looking, it was a very expansive.
It's yeah, the Bridgehampton
Well, you were
residential.
here.
Yeah, it's quite large.
And I feel that I'm not comfortable with this resolution because it gives the impression that the board is in favor of actually expanding to that extent in Bridgehampton.
Right.
Rather than, updating the survey that's already been done.
Right,
And
it's 20, I mean,
so we can get the
You
grant.
can always
but-
amend it and.
It's 11 years old.
11 years old.
Yeah.
And we've lost quite a bit,
Yeah.
so it would be,
The one thing I will say, though, is that the quality of the survey that was done, because it was put out to bid, the lowest bidder, and quality of the survey left something to be desired. Landmarks Board made some efforts to try to quality control. Each one of us kind of looked at the areas that we were involved with to try to fix that. But the thing is, this survey ends up being a resource for, information. It doesn't necessarily lead directly to a district, whereas this proposal to fund the study needed to establish the district is directly leading to establishing a district, which is, in my mind, at this point in time, a better use of those funds. I don't know how much the grant is for either.
right, I think I'm not sure.
It's up to 50,000?
It's up to
I think,
50,
or
which,
35.
yeah, which is certainly better than the funding that went into the 2014 survey, I believe. But at any rate, I would be personally more supportive of going for the money to try to establish yet another district, which is, in my mind, a step forward positively in historic preservation.
And then maybe
Rather
next year
than
we ask for a
updating-
grant to update the survey
Yeah, that would be a
separately.
that would be, I think, a separate move. And, if we're going to, if we get enough support in Remsenburg to try to establish a district there, then we might need yet another grant to try to pursue that. I think the timing on this particular grant, too, is
close.
tight. Yeah, it's
We're
very
at the end
tight.
of October.
Yeah,
We
so-
have like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, to change
And I mean,
that
it was
one.
just the work that you guys did on us becoming a certified local government that allowed us to even apply for these grants. So now it is something that's available to us that we can look at for
Yeah.
the next cycle.
I think we can kind of keep going back to it.
I would like to update the survey for townwide.
Yeah, I think that would be beneficial,
Yep.
too. But I really would love to get another district established.
But,
It's a good thing.
another district meaning like a downtown district, like Remsenburg.
Or downtown, or a historic grouping, or whatever, but it puts the protections in place for the historic resources within that district. And that's the key in my mind, is putting the protections in place, so we don't lose more of our historic resources.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions about this particular house?
And you all know that this house has, we kind of put the cart before the horse with this one. They're also, would like the historic facade easement through the CPF. And that we've already, that's why we've kind of talked about these, and the next one as well, for the historic facade easements. So they need to be landmarked before we can authorize that.
But they have an easement that's been drafted. I
Yes.
don't know where they are in that
Right.
process.
Right, everything's been accepted, and Dan's working on the contract for that.
Okay.
There's no date been set for anything until it gets landmarked.
Right, and this is on for public hearing on the 28th of October.
I don't understand. So we have given, facade easements without the building being landmarked, of course. So what's the?
With the understanding that they would be.
Landmarked, yes. They had been, the landmark board had already sent confirmation to landmark, but to hold off until we could offer historic facade easements. So the owners will landmark if we are assured a historic facade easement. And what happened with the public hearings are in reverse. So we did the historic facade easement first. I don't know how
Which
that
is why
happened.
we pulled the resolution,
That's
or
why
we
we-
tabled the resolution, so that we can have the public hearing for this, so that we can do them both at the same time.
Yep. Sorry about
Because do
that.
you ever give the easement after a house has been landmarked?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we haven't-
generally, you don't do it before.
Right, right. It just, nothing was authorized, so it was, it worked out.
Trying
that
to
we
move
could
along.
Yeah, keep moving it all along. But yes, normally, the building would be landmarked first, and then talk about historic facade easement.
Yep.
It just seems to be, they're going more and more.
Hand in hand.
Hand in hand with the times that we're living in, and people restoring their homes. They want to know if it's worth it for, once you landmark structure, you're devaluing it to a
Yes.
certain extent. So is it
Want to
worth?
extract that value
Right.
to do what you
The
need to
people
do.
want to make sure that they get something that is worthy of them. Then, upon sale down the road, it's now devalued. So
Yeah,
that's all.
got it. Okay.
Julie, I
What about
texted
the
you.
second one? Aren't we
11?
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 Walnut.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I text you a few pictures of
Okay.
a piece of property, what the town just bought in Sag Harbor on Ferry Lane. I don't know if Jackie reached out to you. We're trying to find if there's any historical name to that area.
Was where the toll house was for the bridge.
Okay.
And I think it's always had a name, and I'm not sure exactly.
Thank you.
Might have been the gatehouse or something that those two structures that are now gone. Were historic. They had been moved there from Sag Harbor proper. When they moved the Customs House back in the 40s, they moved these two smaller structures and put them
Okay.
together. So we could work on
Some type of name.
some type of name, sure, for that property, yeah. It's lovely, yeah.
Okay. Second property that the Landmarks Board is recommending be landmarked is 11 Walnut Avenue in East Quogue, also known as the Herman Ellsworth Terrell House. This has less history associated with it. We believe it was constructed somewhere between 1888 and 1898. Looking back at the historic maps, it was not developed on the early maps, but by 1902, there was a house there.
I don't mean to interrupt you, it was actually built by 1894.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, that's 1894, all right,
Yeah,
very
so-
good.
So we know.
So 1888,
Property was purchased in 1891, it's on the map by 1894. He's a Terrell, they were huge builders, he was a mason, so I'm sure he got to it. So probably, I would say probably between 1892 and 94 it was built.
okay, there you go. He was born in 1862 in East Quogue to Richard and Frances Terrell, who were also both from East Quogue. He married Gertrude Smith of Center Merches in 1882, so that would be just about 10 years or so before he built the house. He was, by 1897, he was employed at the Southampton Life Saving Station, and he worked there for a number of years. The house, they had children there. There were multiple family weddings in the house, and he lived in the house until he passed in 1920. His son Douglas Terrell continued to live in the house until 1959 when he passed. After the Terrells owned the house, it was purchased by Mary Phillips, another long-term East Quogue family name, the Phillipses. And it was purchased by the current owner, Lars Fitter, and his wife out of the estate of Mary Phillips. So this is a two-story, front gable Queen Anne style dwelling. It has a hipped roof and retains also much of its historic building fabric, including the double-hung sash windows, a central brick chimney, wood shingle, and a wraparound porch with square posts. And we have some pictures that go back that show that there doesn't appear to have been any significant change in the house. When Lars Fitter approached us to landmark the house, he had some construction planned. The kitchen in the back, which I can attest to is nothing I would want to be working in, was proposed to be renovated and would include removal of two of the kitchen windows, which were original. We encouraged him to reuse these windows on the proposed addition, and I believe that he did so. We looked at the house recently, and the proposed changes that the Landmarks Board agreed to were made exactly as we agreed to. I didn't see anything on the structure that suggested anything else. It's a very nice house. Inside, they're taking very good care of it. We got to tour through the inside, and it's a very nice property. So, you have anything you want to add to it?
No, just the fact that it's a Terrell house, and I just had pulled a newspaper clipping that I, probably from the 1880s, and it's, all of the Terrells are building all sorts of houses through Quogue and East Quogue, so it's a nice representative of the family. And Stephanie mentioned that he was the seventh man on the Southampton life-saving station, which was the winter man. They brought a seventh person in to help with busier shipwrecks. We're doing all this work for the Tiana Life-Saving Station, so he fits in nicely to some of our research. And the Terrells also owned they had a bathing pavilion out on Dune Road, just to the west of the Tiana Life-Saving Station, that served all the people that boarded at East Quogue, summer residents, out on the water. So the Terrell family was quite important and active civically as well as commercially in the East Quogue area. So it's a nice homage to protect one of their homes.
Yeah. Yes, I certainly had trouble sorting out the Terrells when I was going
Yeah,
through
Richard
that.
Terrell, Terrell,
Yeah,
there was a lot
there
of
were
them.
a lot
William
of them.
Terrell.
Yeah.
Is there relations, because we mentioned last time, it's Terrell County Park in East Mauritius, St. Mauritius.
Yeah, they started, I think that's where his wife was
Yes,
from.
his wife is
And they settled there first, I think, first two children were born.
Yes, the
in
first
that
two
neighborhood.
children were born in Santa Mauritius. Yeah. Because they didn't build this house until like 10 years after they were married.
Married, right.
It's a nice park.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good hiking park
Okay.
along the river.
So, any questions about
It's
this?
worth noting, you know, I know Sunday has done work with the East Quogue Historical Society and trying to help them retain their records. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're one of the only historical societies that doesn't have a location that they steward or can keep their archives. And it's literally in tubs in people's basements and attics.
Debbie's home.
And they have collected so many things that I really, my goal is to one day see a location for them where this stuff can be
I
stored
hope
properly.
that the structure that's by the dog park, right out on the water, and they were just hoping to have a place where they could share with somebody, so always kind of on the lookout.
Yeah.
My dream was to take the little the little firehouse that's next to the big house. That's the original little firehouse. And restore it and have it be a home for Historic Society.
That or the St. Rosalie's Annex, which is the old meeting house
It's where all the polling station, that's where they
with
used
all
to
the
vote.
stained glass and.
Yeah.
So when was the last purchase of this? Was it 59, or you're saying it was in the 70s
Yeah, the last purchase or the
of this
last,
house?
the last purchase was Lars Fitter out of the estate of Mary Phillips. Mary Phillips had purchased it in 59 from the Terrells.
So somebody purchased it well after that. You're saying 59 was from
Yeah.
the Terrells.
59
owned
was
it
the
for
last of
the-
the Terrell ownership, yeah.
I mean, does this affect if the way they want to landscape the front yard?
It basically, as long as the house remains visible from the public street, they could put a hedge out, for instance, but just not a hedge that's more than, I think, 4
We do
feet.
4 feet, especially for this, so this, again, this is another one that's the historic facade easement is in the works. And those are all written into the contract, that the hedge cannot be over 4 feet. It has to be completely visible, whatever sides, so this would be the east,
It would be
the west,
It would be the west side.
north and south sides that you can see from the right of way. So those would be, have to be visible at all times. And we
Did
do
you
an
say all
annual,
three?
yeah, the 3 facades that you can see from the road. And those are done, I inspect all the historic facade easements that we've done in the past.
So who owns the house now?
Lars Fitter and his wife.
He's the gentleman that just recently did all the restoration work on it.
And he asked for it to be landmarked.
Yes, he did.
And for facade easement.
Yeah.
What if somebody bought the house, a few years ago and didn't realize that it was, that the town had this code, and they wanted to do something else with it?
And it would go to the,
It goes to
Yeah,
the landmarks board.
But there's really no teeth behind, I
I
mean, you can
believe
make
there's a clause in the
suggestions, but
easement that says they have to notify purchasers.
now there will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easement. But if let's say, in fact, this is kind of how this all came about. Lars Fitter and his wife submitted a construction application for the proposed changes on the house. And Bill Hine and I went to the house and we took photos and we researched the history, et cetera. And we talked to Lars and his wife, or actually to Lars at that time, about the benefits of landmarking. And he then came back to the landmarks board and said, I'd like to landmark. And he submitted an application to landmark. And, we had talked to him about the easement at the same time. So that's how this all came about. So to answer your question, I think if anytime a house that's 1941 or older has a construction application or demolition application submitted, it comes before the landmarks board. And we try to take the time at that point for the houses that are worthy to educate the owners about the benefits of landmarking.
But there's nothing, right, because there's no historic districts, there's really nothing stopping them, they could demo the house, they
Yeah,
could completely
absolutely.
alter the house.
No,
but-
I don't think they can.
Yes, they
Oh,
can.
yes, they can.
Yes,
If
they
it's
can.
not
The town
landmarked.
code said
No.
it's up to the board to decide.
No.
They issue an
Only-
opinion, but it's an opinion only.
It's advisory only, and it is extremely frustrating because we see some beautiful historic properties come before us that people propose to demolish, and we cannot do anything about it.
Oh, I had it
That's
wrong.
why establishing a district or landmarking properties is so important.
But I thought that I remember seeing a meeting once where John Bouvier was saying, it's not working having it optional for people to have their houses landmarked, so we have to make it mandatory. And I thought the town did change the code.
That's the CLG. We became a certified local government, and so the Landmarks Board could recommend landmarking a particular house without owner consent.
Right.
And
Which
it
is
would-
not a
Just without
direction,
owner
which is
consent.
not a
That
direction the
was
board wanted to take.
Right.
But that was why they formed the CLG.
That's part of the reason why the CLG was formed.
Oh, so we haven't been doing that. I thought we had been doing it.
Yeah, the board hasn't landmarked without owner's consent.
Yeah, we've always done it with consent. It's not something like, now we have the ability, or we could, but when we were going through that argument, the argument was you know, people's property rights, and should we force this on people, you know, without their consent? And that's basically like forming the Bridgehampton Historical District for the downtown was so important, because now they're all locked in. Now we can enforce it.
Yeah.
But outside of that district, it's an advisory opinion.
So we didn't change the code to
No.
make it mandatory?
No.
Oh,
Not
okay.
mandatory, but you can landmark without owner consent. That was the change.
Yeah.
It
Well,
didn't make
then
anything mandatory.
you can landmark without the owner
You
consent.
can if you want to.
Yeah.
And I think that the board would reserve that for some
A
very
really
historic
jewel
building
of a
that is
piece,
going
Yeah,
to be
you need a
demolished.
very special
Yeah.
And it's
property.
after a public hearing, so the
Yeah.
owner has full
Correct.
knowledge.
The first landmark was the Spionk Mill, and the town board landmarked that without owner consent because it was going to be demoed. The Big Duck was going to be demoed, and the town board landmarked it without owner consent. And over the years, that requirement was taken out of the code. We changed the code so that we had to have owner consent. Now we've gone back to the code that doesn't require owner consent.
So
And I
if
think you would
if
reserve
somebody
that.
bought this house and they said, we want to demolish it,
If
the
it's-
board
if
could
it's-
say, no, we're not going to let you,
Once
even
it's
though.
landmarked,
Once
they
it's landmarked.
they cannot demo
No,
it.
not once it's landmarked.
If it's not landmarked, they can demo it.
But you just had a series of things that you said that we did force the owner to do it, even though they weren't in
If you went
favor.
through- If you went through the process and landmarked it without their consent, it would be landmarked.
Right. The only thing that we have now is the 1940 date, that it automatically gets flagged and Landmark sees what they want to do first.
Yeah.
And then you advise.
Did he change his construction design at all based on your input?
No, we didn't really have any input that would,
Change it.
would change it, other than we
The
did
windows.
recommend he, reuse the original windows.
Okay.
And I believe that was done, from what I saw of the house. And, that's something that we do every single time that we have a construction application or demolition application, is almost always a recommendation for do this differently, do that differently. I know that the two that I've reviewed for the upcoming Landmarks Board meeting, I'm going to be making some recommendations for some changes. And sometimes people will do that.
I think we're gonna see more of this only because, we're running out of, empty building lots and people are wanting to demo and build what they wanna build.
Yes.
And so I think more of these are gonna start coming in for demo permits, and it's really gonna be a tough call as to what's worthy and what's,
Right, I think with that Sanford house that was torn down in Bridgehampton on the corner of Paul's Lane, I think that would have been a perfect candidate. This was an early 18th century home that the CLG without owner consent would have been appropriate.
Yeah, but that was one, correct me if I'm wrong, where the owner said they would
Restore it,
like take it and put it somewhere else, and that hasn't happened.
it's not happening.
And basically, we didn't step in because of their agreement to do that.
Right.
Right, it was where are we gonna move it, blah, 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 blah. But that would have been one of those buildings that would have warranted something like that, because those are, yeah. And now, the property is vacant, it's just sitting. And we could have let that house sit while and figure it out, right? But,
And there was a rush to get that
yeah.
off the property.
Yeah.
What's CLG stand for?
Certified Local Government.
Okay.
It's a good thing. We all now get some training.
Yes.
We now have some teeth if we want to exercise them.
But I
Okay.
do like the idea of maybe, I'm all for Bridgehampton having a second district because there's so many homes contributing, but moving out into,
To that-
it's a big town.
But to that point, though, do
big
we
town.
have, we have the survey that has potential districts. Do we have a inventory of homes that have real significant, are they double flagged in the system? Have we done outreach on those?
There's, they're not double flagged in the system, that they are all, the ones that are in the 2014 survey are all flagged in the system for review.
Because, I've seen stuff that has come up with that flag on it that you look at it and you're like,
Well-
I'm talking about pieces, you guys know the homes and the buildings in this town that are the jewels, that would be a loss to the community as a whole if they were demolished or,
They're not especially called out in the system now.
Yeah, they don't have any
do we
extra.
keep an inventory of those properties, though?
Yeah.
That list was.
And do we do outreach
get
to
a
those
list.
owners to see if they'll landmark, even within, you know, with the easement on it, or?
I don't think we,
I'm sorry, what was
I
that?
would, do we do outreach to those owners to basically offer them landmarking or facade easements? 'Cause, I mean, we do outreach on CPF properties. I don't think why shouldn't we do outreach on historic facade easements,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, some of us on the landmarks board do it, you know, informally, you know, like,
Yeah.
I do it in the Remsenburg area, and.
Because some of these, some of these buildings would be just, to me, just as big as a vista. I mean, it is the vista.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Maybe something we need to
something we need to do.
talk about doing.
look into, yeah,
Funding,
right.
funding.
Do a whole layer of priority historic structures.
Just, I mean, just starting with the ones that you know,
Yeah.
you know, and institutional knowledge that you all know are there, and doing some outreach to those.
Absolutely, yeah. Could be done.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in. It's very informative every time we meet with you.
Very good. We'll see you on the 28th.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to the town council member supervisor project updates. Cindy, you want to get us started?
I have a lot of things, but they're all in the working stage. That should be coming shortly, so I will reserve until next week.
Okay. Let's see, I went to the Hampton Bays Beautification Association meeting, and Councilmember Martell was there with me. And lots of questions, very engaged group. I'm following up on some things, but for the most part, we were able to answer what they wanted to know. And then I've had some meetings recently about the FIMP project and meeting with the mayors, and because the villages are going to have to start contributing going forward, we're going to have follow-up meetings on that. And that's all, just lots of FIMP lately. Bill?
Well, we all know that the West Hampton Senior and Youth Center is going to be awarded next week. The bids. Unfortunately, we cannot start until after bat season, because I know people is going to ask me when we're going to break ground up there. So I just want to let people know once the bat season.
December 1st, I think.
Yeah, we'll be up there with our shovels to start. The animal shelter, the floor is underway. The sanitation starts on the 14th. The kennels have been ordered. They want to get that working as they wanted. This is a reminder on the town hall outside. The work starts this coming Saturday.
Oh, nice.
They're gonna do double shift and work 6 days a week on it, try to get it done soon. I know that people are gonna be inconvenienced coming to work and being in here, and the people who are come to do business with the town. I hope they all have a little patience, so no one comes up and yells at us again. Because it's all
Gotta
better
be
for the
patient.
building, yes.
Really needs it.
We know the public safety building is gonna be finally torn down on the 14th. They figured 2 days, maybe 3. This is in Rick's area, Overhead Road, the Triangle, they're gonna start doing that and improve the paving around it and put some fence up on that triangle. That's supposed to be done in the next couple of weeks. And the solar panels on a new ambulance building is gonna be installed, I think, in a week and a half. That's it.
Where?
The new ambulance building
Oh.
in North Sea. I think they got a grant for it.
Good.
I just want to add, and it was nice of Nick to point out that even though we will be inconvenienced with scaffolding and things going on, the bathrooms at Town Hall will remain open
Yes.
throughout the.
Yes,
That's a big plus.
yes.
And, oh, I forgot to say, we're gonna get some strong winds and weather this
Yeah.
weekend, and I know Ryan reached out to the county to, talk to them yet again, to, shore up the dunes, so let's
I'm
hope
really
things
concerned
hold.
about by the commercial fishing dock. It
know.
washed over in the last just high tide,
Yeah,
so it's
but
really
we have
thin.
been notifying the county, and
We
I
have.
hope that they do take some action to protect.
Yeah, I mean,
Jen.
Ryan and I have emails going back to them back when they had the dredge in place, asking them to place more sand after the Ponquag Bridge became an issue, asking them to put more sand down there because in the case of an emergency, we can't bring big trucks over.
Yeah.
I actually forgot to bring I dug a picture out where the dune, was no dune, and the water had came up when I had the marina up into the parking lot, and it's all sand.
Wow. That happened again during Sandy, though, right? Was it Sandy when that happened?
I think so, yes. I have about 4 inches of sand in my office.
Wow.
Scary days.
Rick? Thank you, Bill.
So we had a meeting earlier today with the Hampton Bays Water District. I just want to thank them. They'll be presenting in front of the Civic Association probably in Hampton Bays by the first of the year. And I want to thank them for being so proactive. You know, all the money for the new meters and so on, their list of employees is actually less than it was like 15 years ago. They're doing more with less manpower and more technology. So I really have, you know, my hat's off to them for what they do. I did have a good time at the beautification. Thank you for coming there. That's a nice group. They always are looking for the positive rather than the negative.
Yep,
and we
Susan
appreciate
runs a
it.
good meeting,
Yep,
too.
and we appreciate being there. And just a couple reminders, the survey for the skate park is open online on our website till October 15th. And we're going to have a fall festival at Good Ground Park on the 17th from 4 to 6. So please try to make that.
Great, yeah, that's always fun. Okay, well, if no one else has any other comments, then I move to go into executive session to discuss personnel acquisitions and confidential legal advice.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.